On aging, social worker, and elder abuse victims specialist, Ryan Porter. Hey, Ryan.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Welcome to JTV.
Yeah, glad to be here.
It's Ryan's first time on our show. Nice to have you here. But you've been at Wellwise Area Services on Aging for quite some time.
That's right, for about 10 years.
Nice. So elder abuse, that's, anytime I just hear that phrase, it just makes me sick.
Me too.
That there is such a thing.
For sure.
How do you define, what is elder abuse?
Yeah, so it's actually a lot like, it's very similar to child abuse, honestly, not because older people are children, but because that's easier for people to understand what abuse to a child would be like, you know? But often that happens to older people too. They can obviously be physically abused, they can be sexually abused, they can be exploited, they can be taken advantage of in various ways. And so that really makes that possible when people have nefarious intentions and they just kind of do what they want with a person. There are ways that people can defend themselves, but really elder abuse happens to people who are vulnerable. And that's one of the things that the law, the statutes that are around elder abuse, it happens to people who are vulnerable, and that's the main piece.
Overall, it seems like our society does treat seniors and elderly as second-class citizens. And
that can happen.
I mean, it's just, I don't know why it is, but you see it every day.
You do, yeah.
But there are specific things that do cause damage, and not just physical. We're talking about emotional abuse, financial. A lot of categories fit into elder abuse.
That's correct.
Give us an example of what an elder abuse case might be.
Sure. So it can be, you know, for example, maybe you have somebody who is living in another state, and then, you know, all of a sudden their family member puts them on transportation, sends them to, you know, an old friend in another state, you know, say in Michigan, and then that person has to figure it out because they just kind of show up on their doorstep, and so that, you know, the person in the other state, they don't have responsibility for the person anymore, even though they really did. But now it's someone else's responsibility, and they're not necessarily ready for that. That happens more frequently than you would imagine. And then that person has to be connected to services. So maybe they need, you know, insurance. They need all the things that, including housing and various things. I mean, they're basically dropped off on this person's doorstep. That sort of thing happens. And then there's the more classic thing where, you know, someone is physically abused by a caregiver or something like that. It can look like financial abuse comes from, you know, mostly family members who are doing those things because they have access to bank accounts and things like that. Sometimes there's coercion, sometimes there's power of attorney issues. It's a whole lot of different things. So.
And health too. There are people that need care that aren't getting it.
Right.
Not providing care is abuse as well.
Oh, 100%. It's neglect.
Neglect.
Yeah, and a specific kind of neglect, because caregiver neglect has its own set of responsibilities that, you know, it's different, again, when somebody's vulnerable and they're not getting the care they need.
And this can happen anywhere. It can happen in the person's home. It can happen in their family's home. It could happen even in a facility.
Right, absolutely.
So you guys are, again this year, doing the Safe Haven Benefit Dinner and Fundraiser. And that's why you wanted to come on today and talk about that, and it's coming up.
Absolutely. So it's on Thursday, June 26th, from 5 to 7:30 p.m. At Wellwise Services Area Agency on Aging in Brooklyn. And so we invite the whole community to purchase tickets and come out. Tickets are $50, and they can get them on our website or by coming into the office as well and purchasing the ticket.
And where you're actually hosting this at Wellwise?
Correct, yes. So that's 107 Chicago Street in Brooklyn. And so we'll have a 50-50 raffle, we'll have a silent auction, we'll have a couple speakers as well. Kelsey Guernsey from the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office, and also Scott Elfelt from the Prosecuting Attorneys Association in Michigan will be there, giving keynote speaking in a keynote capacity about the various issues that they see at the state level with elder abuse.
And it's a full-blown dinner. And you
It
have
is, correct.
You have a caterer?
Yes, Sylvia's Catering will be catering
Sylvia's
a full-blown dinner. Yep,
Reason enough to go.
it's phenomenal.
What are some of the things you could use? You are doing 50-50s and raffles and things like that. Are you looking for sponsorships and prizes?
Yeah, some of that is underway, but if people are interested in that, I would direct them to Bill DeSmet at our office, who is running those things. They can call and speak with him. Our phone number is 517-592-1974. You can ask to speak to Bill.
And as this is a fundraiser for Safe Haven, how does the money, how do you use the funds raised?
Yeah, so we use them. We have a couple safe houses in the community that we rent, and we use some of the money for those, for that cost, so that elder abuse victims who are in need of a safe housing situation outside of where we're living before, where they were possibly being abused, we give them the ability to be in one of our safe houses until they can find better housing situation. So some of the money is used for that. And then we have grants that also support our work, but the money from the benefit is unrestricted funds. A lot of grants are restricted and have very specific uses, and we're able to use these funds to kind of fill in gaps as we need to have specific needs met for people that otherwise a grant wouldn't cover.
Well, it's too bad you have to have these needs and have to spend this money in this way, but unfortunately that's the way it is. Glad you're doing the service and glad you're doing the fundraising.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Great to see you. Thanks for coming on. And if you want more information, you can visit wellwiseservices.org, scan the code. And I think you've done this in different places over the years, but you just have a limited space, so once the tickets are sold, they're gone.
That's correct.
All right.
I mean, I'm sure that if folks wanted to purchase a ticket and just donate the funds, they could do that if they would want to, but we would obviously want you to come to the event if you buy a ticket as well.
Good point.
So,
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan. Ryan Porter is social worker and elder abuse victims specialist at Wellwise Services Area Agency on Aging.